Hey, everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Molly Lowe, a CEO and LinkedIn business coach who helps coaches and online service providers optimize and monetize their LinkedIn presence. With 2 decades of HR leadership and entrepreneurship, Molly blends strategy with spirituality to create alignment, attract ideal clients, and scale businesses with purpose. How are you doing today, Molly?
I am doing fabulous. Like I said, I'm just so excited to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
No, it's my pleasure. I really enjoyed our conversation we had a while ago. I've been meaning to reconnect anyway, and I was like, "Hey, come talk about all the cool stuff you're doing, and we'll see if we can make some introductions for you." So, was excited to have you on. But to start off, where are you located? Where are you calling in from?
Yes, I am here in South Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm actually about 5 minutes away from the lakefront. So yeah, when it snows, it snows. When it rains. But man, it is quite beautiful.
That's awesome. For people that have never been, let's say you have friends coming into town. Where are you taking them? What are you doing? And where are you guys going for dinner?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's so hard for me to pick one spot. I personally, number one, where are we eating in my home? I love cooking. I am a Cancer, and so I only like to cook for the people that I care about and I love. So the first thing I'm going to do is ask you what you want to eat, and I'm going to cook it here. Now, if I'm going to take you somewhere, gosh, it depends on what you like to do. Of course, we always have the fun stuff. We can always go and watch a Bucks game, a Brewers game. We can do like all the sports thing. I think is always fun to do. And then we have some really great bar hopping because we're known here for our beer. So that's a really good spot. So downtown's always a good place to start too.
That all sounds great. What are your favorite dishes to cook?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I am Hmong American. All right, so a lot of my traditional foods, but everybody knows me for my pho. So if you like the Vietnamese pho, I am good with that. If you like curry, I'm really good with my curry as well. And my chocolate chip cookies. My chocolate chip cookies. Let's not forget dessert.
Sold. All right. So, awesome, awesome. So, what can you tell us about what you do?
Yeah, gosh. Okay, so you did a beautiful job already introducing me, and that's what I would say is my elevator pitch, if you will. If I were to just render out the fat and just say what it is that I do plainly, I help people who have a LinkedIn profile and a presence to get clients into their business. It is one thing to have a fantastic looking profile, which is really important, and to just push out content out there. It's a whole nother ball game to actually call in your ideal clients and convert them from a cold lead into a high ticket paying client through the help of your LinkedIn profile. So that's really what I do is I help people to find their clients, find them, attract them, convert them. That's really what I do.
Okay. Well, how'd you get started in this? Is this something you've always done? Is this something in high school you're like, you know what I want to do? Or what's that journey look like?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is what of course, right? A funny story. So I've been in business a little over 7 years. My first year in business, I was totally resistive to LinkedIn. I didn't want to do LinkedIn. Why? Because I paid my dues in corporate HR for 20 years. I use LinkedIn to hire candidates, to source for candidates. I was in LinkedIn. I was in HR before even LinkedIn launched. So I've seen the start, the evolution of LinkedIn. And I told my business coach at the time, I said, I don't want to do LinkedIn. I want to figure out Facebook. I want to figure out Instagram where all of the other coaches are at. And let me just say that it was through her as a challenge. She was like, all right, just give it 90 days. Obviously, you're resisting it for some rhyme or reason, and what you resist persists. So why don't you just go ahead and just go all in and see what happens? Guess what? Those 90 days turned out to be really great moments of realization that I know what I've been doing on LinkedIn. I've used it, so it was really comfortable for me. And it was just learning how to rework and pivot how I was learning how to leverage LinkedIn to hire candidates to then find clients. And so that's really how I started. And quite frankly, I get this question commonly, which I think is a very fair question. People ask, Molly, did you go through somebody's LinkedIn certification class? Did you like get trained by LinkedIn to do this? Like, how did you come up with your strategies? No, I didn't. This is all through trial and error, my way of being able to say, I practice what I preach. All of the strategies that I put together is my intellectual property, and I have then put it into scalable, sustainable, structured strategies for my clients to replicate. So that's why it started.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like stories like that where it's like at first you're like, nah, and then it kind of dawns on you. You kind of ease it. I don't know. I really like those. So, what do you love about what you're doing?
Oh gosh, okay. How do I where do I start, right? Okay, so for one of the things that I love most about what I do is on LinkedIn, a common misconception and resistance that my clients have and my community members have is that they have to show up professional on LinkedIn and it seems kind of stuffy over there and everybody's saying the same thing, right? What I love about what I'm doing is I'm the black sheep, baby. I'm the one who is dancing on LinkedIn Live. I'm the one who is ruffling the feathers and saying, no, we don't have to do it this way. No, we don't have to believe this. Like, this is how, here's an option for you. Here's a different suggestion for you. And so I like to put ripples in my pond over here. And that's what I love most about being over here on LinkedIn and creating a safe place for other individuals to say, oh, if Molly is being super authentic, sharing her message, and she's not coming off super professional or super boring and snobby or whatever, stuffy, I can too. And so that really is why I continue to show up on my LinkedIn.
That's awesome. Yeah, you can really tell when somebody's being authentic. Because if you're just trying to be another guy in a suit and it's not you, you're not going to do it as well as the guy that's what they do, right? If that's their personality and that's
Right.
them being authentic, you're just going to be a watered down version. So why would they talk to you? So being authentic is important. It's come up a bunch of times in a lot of these episodes, and it's absolutely true. So that's awesome. Yeah, I love that. So what are some hard won lessons that you had along the way? You said it's been about 7 years since you started. That maybe if you can go back in time, you'd tell yourself to look out for, or you would advise in newer entrepreneurs or people aspiring to become entrepreneurs to kind of keep an eye out for.
Yeah. I at the beginning of my journey, I was doing a lot of networking naturally, right? And I had someone, and I wish I can remember his name. He had said to me, been an entrepreneur for a minute. He said, Molly, entrepreneurship is one of the most spiritual journeys that you will ever go on. And at that time, I was like, okay, whatever, dude. Like, sure, like, uh-huh, mm-hmm, that kind of thing. Holy cow, was he spot on. If I could go back in time, if I could find the DeLorean and punch in there 7 years ago, January 2018, go all the way back and take my and knock myself over the head, the younger self, and say, this really is about embracing spirituality as well as strategy. That's what I would say is don't ignore learning how to listen to your intuition. Do not ignore understanding how much of you being who you are and in this journey is just as important as you learning sales and marketing skills, right? That's one of the biggest level ups, if you can call it, in the game of entrepreneurship. So that's what I would say.
No, it's absolutely true. So anybody that's lived it knows. So that's fantastic advice. What is the avatar of your average client? What does your average client look like? Or what are some pain points that somebody might be going through that if they're dealing with XYZ, you're the person that they should be talking to?
Absolutely. Because, of course, we flock to who we are, right? Like attracts like. A lot of my clients are former HR colleagues or HR entrepreneurs, people who want to take their HR career into being a career coach, a leadership coach, an executive coach. Resume writers also like to come to me for support. And so some of their common challenges, if you will, really is how do I sell to most of them are B2C, right? So it's not like I can just air quote network with other businesses. And yes, I can find referral partners and things of that nature, but how do I actually stand out amongst the crowd of what people are coming to LinkedIn for. People come to LinkedIn for what? Most of the time to find a job. So you very much become almost like one voice. So how do you stand out? So that's one of the biggest questions I get is, how do I stand out amongst my peers? Secondly, how do I start the conversation with my potential prospect? How do I find them? What do I say? How do I make sure that I'm not coming off salesy and spammy? Because we don't want to do that either. So those would be the top common questions and challenges that they have.
Okay. How about power partners? Who are some power partners yours, or what industries or what professionals do you find a lot of potential collaborations working with?
Yes. So of course I love my spiritual woo-woo people. So lots of mindset, human design or Enneagram coaches are really great power partners. And then of course, fellow social media marketing content strategists. Because I am not good with Facebook or Instagram. As I shared, I tried it. It didn't work for me. Doesn't mean it doesn't work for everybody, right? But those are great collaborators because at the end of the day, I come in and talk about LinkedIn. They get to come in and talk about the platforms that they do really well with. So those are some power partners.
Awesome. How can coaches and online service providers use LinkedIn to attract high-paying clients?
This is such a good, juicy question. So here's the thing. Okay. When I talk to, even in my intro, right, we talked about finding, attracting, and converting. And when we think about it from that perspective, I think one of the biggest things that we forget in doing lead generation is to diversify our LinkedIn community members. Our LinkedIn community members are made up of what? Number one, your first three connections. Number two, your followers. And number three, your subscribers. So when you can diversify your community members, that's just more lists, more lead lists that you can mine, because not everybody is going to be a first degree connection and vice versa. Not everybody's going to be a follower and not everybody's going to be a subscriber. So what we want to do here is really learn how to create different pathways for people to consume your marketing strategy. So they're like, oh yeah, LinkedIn, who do I know? Molly. That is how you start to find and attract your ideal clients into your community.
Okay, awesome. This might be a little redundant, but I imagine there's other ones. What are some other key elements of a successful LinkedIn lead generation strategy?
Yes, here's the thing, okay? When we're doing, and I'm gonna share exactly what I teach in my Catalyst community, okay, in my Catalyst group coaching program, 15 minutes every other day. Lead generation does not need to be this daunting, overarching, heavy task at all. 15 minutes every other day. That's it. Okay. And the key here is this is where that business spirituality kind of comes in here. It's what I call the follow the breadcrumbs strategy. I know it's probably the most unstrategic strategy that you could ever find here, but this is where you have to really believe that the algorithm is working in your favor. And so when you are doing lead gen, start with your news feed first. Take a look at the posts, especially the ones that have a lot of engagement. Mind the engagements, especially the ones that have 100, 200 plus likes, hearts, all of those engagements, and mine those posts. Look for your people off of that. And then the next step here, and this is the key, do not, and I cannot say this enough, do not skip the connection request step. I don't care if you're on LinkedIn Premium, and I don't care if you're on Sales Navigator. Do not slide into somebody's email saying, hi, I'm going to sell you right now. That is the biggest no. You are going to be so shut off. That's not how we go about curating relationships on LinkedIn that's going to bring you quality and quantity leads. Awesome.
No, that's a fantastic answer because a lot of us we kind of fall into that. A lot of us newer in our entrepreneur journey where it's like, I don't like it when people do it to me, but I'm going to do it to other people. And it's like, why? It doesn't work. It doesn't work going in, so stop doing it, right? So, that's fantastic advice. How does balancing strategy and spirituality help entrepreneurs build a thriving business?
Yeah. There's so much that you can do, right? And so when you think about business strategy, everybody has masculine and feminine energies in them. The strategy side is more your masculine. That's the doing, that's the execution, that's the, let me really just make sure that I understand what I'm doing. I'm going to learn, I'm going to take action, okay? That's the business strategy. Great, right? If we're just sticking on the topic of lead generation, yeah. So many people just want to sit here and just manifest people falling out of the sky for them. It could work, but imagine if you were to lean in and do some strategy and actually learn how to do my 15 minutes every other day lead gen strategy. You're going to grow that a lot quicker with a lot more momentum and more people. Now, the business spirituality side of this is again allowing for the algorithm, allowing for God, the universe, the higher power, plug and play what fits for you spiritually here, and allow for you to know and trust that the people that you need to meet, aka Anthony, me, that you are going to cross our paths for a reason. There is a reason for why. So when you are blending the doing, taking action, executing, learning strategy, and trusting that who you need to meet will show up on your newsfeed, who you need to meet will nudge you in the emails. That's how you balance both strategy and spirituality to grow your business on LinkedIn.
This has been awesome. And I know we could spend a lot of time going into all of this. But is there anything that I missed or failed to ask that you wanted to add?
That's a really good question. I think at the end of the day, if there's you covered a lot, but if there's one golden nugget, if I may just share here too, is everybody has space on LinkedIn, and it may feel like a boardroom sometimes, but shimmy your chair over, make space on that boardroom table, and share your gift and your knowledge, your message to the world. Trust me, there's somebody there waiting and wanting to hear it.
For people that are wanting to shimmy into the boardroom and sit at the table, how can they find you? Where can they get a hold of you at?
Obviously, LinkedIn. That is where I spend the majority of my time. So, yeah, feel free to look me up, Molly Lowe or Lotus Mentoring, and you'll be able to find my personal profile. Feel free to connect with me. Let me know that you heard me on Anthony's podcast because that'll really, yeah, I love knowing how people come across me. So, put that in your connection note as well.
Perfect. If anybody would like to get a hold of Molly, absolutely do it. She is a wealth of knowledge and super great energy. I don't know if you've picked that up since being, listening to this, but she's the exact same in a one-to-one as she is here. So, do yourself a favor, reach out, have that conversation, add her on LinkedIn, and you'll see. Just observe her a little bit if you're a little shy, and just see the energy that she puts out there, and you're going to want to reciprocate and match it. So, absolutely do that. If you'd like to get a hold of me, you can visit me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, connect with awesome people like Molly in our growing community. And if you or somebody would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on the website. But Molly, I really appreciate you coming on, taking the time, kind of going into all of this, because a lot of us, we look at LinkedIn and we're like, it's just for hiring, and we kind of miss what's going on there because a lot's changed. Like you said in the beginning, that it was one thing to start, it's different now. Understand how it's different. So, really appreciate you elaborating a bit about that. So let's all go out and spend a little bit more time meaningfully in those spaces. Let's have an awesome day and grow our circle. All right.